Welcome back to another episode of Common Clash. We've got some powerful commanders at the table, so if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to pump out more episodes. Make sure you stay until the end of the video so you can learn how to enter in our latest giveaway and earn yourself a Teferi Master of Time and much more. Today's episode of Common Clash is sponsored by the Game Chest. They're an amazing board game store that sells Magic product and accessories. A link to the website will be in the description below. Right under that link will be our TCG player affiliate link. So if you like any of the decks that you see today or just want to buy some singles, head on over to TCG Player using our affiliate link in the description to not only help support the channel, but the LGS that you buy from. And lastly, if you're feeling a little extra generous and supportive, make sure to check out our Patreon. We've got the best benefits for joining, so head on over and give it a peek to see which tier is right for you. With all that being said, let's get to those hands. Edwin's Sliver Overlord deck is back and out for a win. He keeps an opening hand of Amoeboid Changeling, Plated Sliver, Clot Sliver, Sentinel Sliver, a Forest, and 2 Plains. I'm playing Karametra, God of Harvest, and I risk it all with a hand of Destiny Spinner, Primordial Sage, Bramble Sovereign, Avenger of Zendikar, Elvish Visionary, Farseek, and 1 single Forest. Mark's got Tuvasa the Sunlit as his general, and his hand has Burgeoning, Soul Ring, Dovin's Veto, Mystic Snake, Time Wipe, Floodplain, and an island. Lastly, we've got Betho playing Breya, Ethereum Shaper, and he keeps a hand of Cyclonic Rift, Generous Gift, Sword of Feast and Famine, Steam Vents, an island, swamp, and plains. Edwin hits a 19 on the D20 roll and gets to start the game.
Oh, didn't I get 19?
I got 18.
I got 19.
Yeah, he got 19.
You got 19?
I got 19.
Oh yeah, you did.
21.
That's crazy. I'm gonna go first here.
Edwin draws and plays a Plains for turn. He taps it and casts a Plated Sliver. Already starting his shenanigans, he passes. I draw and play a Forest. I pass. Mark draws and also plays a Forest, but then he uses it to cast a Burgeoning.
No one play lands, easy. Just don't play lands. It's true.
Betho completely ignores my reasonable suggestion of not playing lands and drops a tapped Steam Vents. With this, Mark gets to also drop a land and plays his Floodplain.
Just one land.
It's alcohol hidden, bro.
just one land, bro.
After my pleas to Edwin to not play a land, he drops a Forest. Mark gets to play an island from this, and Edwin then uses those lands to cast a Sentinel Sliver. He moves to combat and swings 1 at Mark, but it's far too late as Mark's got this game in the bag. I untap and become the very thing I swore to destroy as I play a Plains for turn. I then cast Farseek and search for a Canopy Vista as I pass.
Makes you feel better though, those are all my lands.
Mark untaps and casts a Soul Ring. With nothing else to do, he passes. Betho untaps and plays an island as Mark cracks his Floodplain to search for an appropriate land. Betho then passes. Edwin untaps and draws. He plays a Mountain for turn and then casts a Gruul's Signet. He then casts a Virulent Sliver, bringing Infect to the board. He moves to combat and swings 2 slivers at Betho, giving him 2 poison counters. I untap and draw as Mark mocks my chuckle.
I'm gonna pay 3 for... That's mean. I'm gonna pay 3 for a Reclamation Sage on your Soul Ring.
Wait, bro, how do we get 3 lands?
Seeing as it's my only thing to do, I cast a Reclamation Sage and destroy Mark's Soul Ring. I pass.
For laughing. Just for laughing.
Ah!
I pass. I couldn't do anything
What are you
else.
killing?
Mark untaps and casts Tuvasa the Sunlit. He then passes. Betho untaps and draws. He plays a land and casts a Tribute Mage. It enter and Betho goes to search for an artifact.
You know you get 1 card?
Donkey! They're all good cards.
He finally decides on Aethersworn Canonist and puts it to hand. He then passes. Edwin starts turn 4 with a draw and plays a Plains. He moves to combat and swings a single sliver at Mark. Mark doesn't block and takes the hit and gets a poison counter. He then passes. I untap and draw for turn. I start off by casting an Elvish Visionary, which draws me a card when it enters. I then play a Plains for turn and follow up with a Destiny Spinner, making my enchantments and creatures protected from counter magic. I move to combat.
Just why not? Speed it up. I'll swing 2 at Mark.
Mark takes the 2 damage and I pass the turn. Mark untaps and draws. He casts an Unflinching Courage, which draws him a card on cast since it's the first enchantment for his turn. His commander gets pretty big from the buff and its own ability. Mark moves to combat. He swings his commander at Betho for 4 trample and lifelink damage. After gaining his life, he passes without playing a land. Betho untaps and plays a land, but Mark surprises us all as he drops a land from his hand with Burgeoning. Betho then follows up with an Aethersworn Canonist and Nim Deathmantle. He passes and we move on to turn 5. Edwin draws and casts a Commander Sphere. He then plays a Clot Sliver.
Clot Sliver? You got Clout now?
Played a what?
Artifact and
Okay. I'm just checking, bro. I'm just checking.
Not making mistakes this time, peoples.
Moving to combat, I may have pushed Edwin to start sending them slivers around.
He got no creatures to block.
Hey, chill.
He's gaining life each turn.
That's facts.
And trample.
That's
You have no creatures at all?
You got,
no creatures to block.
No blocking creatures.
Swing 3 to Marcus.
He decides to swing his 3 available slivers at Mark, knocking him down 4 life, but giving him 3 more poison counters. With a total of 4 infect on Mark, he passes.
Arthur, you know I'm about to kill you now, because
That's fine, bro.
Pass?
I untap and play another Planes for turn, as I'm getting pretty lucky with my draws. I then pay 5 mana to bring out Karametra, God of Harvest. No longer worried about my land situation, I pass. Mark untaps and draws. He decides to take his turn to commercial break and passes without doing anything.
pass.
Oh, he's scared, bro. He's
He got
scared.
Bro, he's scared.
He's scared, bro. You got him. You got
He
him.
said, Shiver me timber.
He gonna play a land right
He
now.
said, Shiver me
He gonna play
timbers.
that land right now.
Beto moves to his turn and plays a Vault of Whispers. He then pays 2 mana for a Chief Engineer.
Dang. He's giving you infect. He's knocking down. What have I done to you, Mark, bro?
You
Come
took
here,
out
bro.
my mana, bro.
Come here.
Beto then convokes out a Sword of Feast and Famine, but Mark isn't having it and counters it with Dovin's Veto.
Dovin's Vito.
Edwin untaps, draws, and casts a Pillar of Origins, followed by a Amoeboid Changeling. Edwin was ready to pass a turn after this since we all have blockers, but Beto instigates a little bit and casts a Cyclonic Rift targeting Mark's commander. Does this have to do with the sword getting countered? I don't think so. With a clear path, Edwin then swings his 4 slivers at Mark for 5 total damage and 4 more poison counters, bringing his total up to 8. He passes. I untap and draw. I cast a Bramble Sovereign which triggers my commander and I go to search for a forest and put it into play tapped. I pass as I search. Mark untaps and he has yet to return from commercial break as he just passes his turn.
Pass.
I like that.
Beto draws for turn. He then plays an Inventor's Fairs as his land, as I mentioned how Nim Deathmantle is a combo piece, not realizing that the land he just played can search for the other needed artifact. Beto gets a little too caught up in the conversation and Mark tells him to speed it up by saying,
Stop being a
up,
mark,
bro.
bro. Come on.
Alright, what do I even do?
He said something to Mark.
not wanting to be a Mark, he just passes. Edwin untaps and moves straight to combat. He swings all 5 of his slivers at Mark. Facing down death, Mark casts a Beast Within on Edwin's Pillar of Origins. Edwin gets a 3/3 and Mark dies to infect. He then passes. I untap and draw. I debate whether I want to play a spell or not.
Try the wings.
I'll live 1 turn. I'm gonna tap 6 for
You'll live 1 turn, Frank. I'll tell you that.
I decide to bring out Primordial Sage and search for my land with Karametra. I move to my end step and pass, but Beto responds by sacrificing his Inventor's Fair to search for an artifact. I immediately regret not holding up mana and Beto grabs an Ashnod's Altar. Beto untaps and casts the Ashnod's Altar. He then casts his commander, Breya, Ethereum Shaper. With all his combo pieces out and no response from Edwin and I, he moves through the combo. Breya enters the battlefield and makes 2 Thopters. Beto then sacrifices Breya along with one of the Thopters to Ashnod's Altar to make 4 mana. With Breya dying, the Nim Death Mantle triggers and Beto uses that 4 mana to bring back Breya. When Breya enters the battlefield, she makes another 2 Thopters, bringing his total up to 3. Beto can continue this loop of sacrificing his commander to the altar and bringing it back to make an infinite amount of Thopters.
Boom, boom.
With an infinite amount of creatures, he then has access to infinite colorless mana with Ashnod's Altar, and now with infinite mana and artifact creatures, he can activate Breya to bolt Edwin and I down for the win.
Do that over and over. Zap, zap, zap. And you guys are dead.
The game was real fun and quick, and I don't feel bad about losing to the combo. We all had a whole rotation to get rid of the Nim Deathmantle, but instead decided to work on our own board states. Edwin and I had not realized that the Inventor's Fair was going to go get the game-winning piece, or else we would have acted accordingly. The last turn I was deciding whether I wanted to hold up mana for a Beast Within, but without checking the board state, I didn't. This game just goes to show that you need to be constantly tuned in and see what is around the board. Edwin's slivers weren't too bad this game, even though he was able to take out Mark pretty quickly. He probably should have taken his aim somewhere else because Mark wasn't really doing much after his second poison hit. Speaking of Mark, his Tuvasa deck is usually really strong and oppressive, but this game, he was just on the wrong end of the stick. We all piled up against him for whatever reason, allowing Beto to go unnoticed. Beto's Breya deck is super strong and synergistic. The commander itself is just so much value, and he played out his cards perfectly this game. He slowed us down with his Aethersworn and slid in for the win. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, Common Command is having another huge giveaway thanks to our sponsor, the Game Chest. A link to their website is down below, along with our TCG Player affiliate link and our Patreon, where we offer some of the best benefits for joining. Now let's dive into what we're giving away. All of the prizes are going to be going to one lucky winner, and the giveaway ends August 7th. The first prize up is an MTG Bag Clip figurine pack. They have some of Magic's most iconic characters and are a great way to show off your love for the game. Next is a dice tray with the Game Chest logo in the middle. This is perfect as a designated dice rolling area when deciding who to attack or who should go first. Lastly, we have 2 PlanesWalkers from Core Set 2021. Both Liliana, Waker of the Dead, and Teferi, Master of Time, are going to one lucky winner along with the previous prizes. These are powerful cards that belong in a ton of decks, so let's learn how you can win them. Entering the giveaway is super simple. All you need to do is share this or another video of Common Commands on either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with the hashtag CommonClash. If you share this on an Instagram story or Facebook story, please know that when we look up the hashtag CommonClash, it doesn't show on these stories, so I recommend that you make an actual post that can be looked up. To be sure that we see it, go ahead and tag us in the post. So again, all you have to do is share this or another video from the channel on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with the hashtag CommonClash and tag us in the post to make sure that we see it. If you share a video on all 3 of these social media apps, you will get an additional entry in the giveaway. All links to our social media accounts are down below. Feel free to ask us questions if you have any concerns. If you enjoyed the video, why not help us out by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Good luck to everyone who enters, and remember to stay clashing.